my IEC video blog to complete the courses. What have I learned in this program? I would be here all night if I had to detail everything that I learned. I learned how to use Google Sites. I learned about Tour Builder, about Google Maps, about ADA compliance and accessibility, about just how to push myself in order to make my instruction more engaging for my students and to effectively evaluate and utilize technology that in the classroom that had purpose instead of just trying to substitute the technology for a pen and paper activity. The participation in the Q community really helped in that I felt that my cohort members were very reflective and supportive. I appreciated many of the articles that they shared, and that led to some investigation on my own. So I really liked the idea of having some of our assignments evaluated by members of the cohort so that we could make it a stronger submission and learn from that. I've learned so much from the people in the cohort itself, and so many people who I feel are so much farther in their technological journey than I am or was when I started. So they're very inspirational and have been very helpful in sharing their ideas. As far as my own teaching, I feel the biggest transformation has been the fact that I'm a little bit more critical of how I'm using technology as far as to what purpose, and as far as how am I augmenting instruction instead, augmenting or modifying or pushing beyond instead of just simply settling for this is a storyboard that you can do instead of doing it on paper, where I'm much more reflective as far as what piece to use and how to use it. I remember at the beginning of the course how foreign Google Sites was to me and how frustrated I was in that I had no idea how to utilize it. And since then, they've come out with, I've heard, a more intuitive platform. But to have that exposure, it really, some of the frustration led me to kind of connect and recognize with what my students might be feeling. And then it also really pushed me to kind of go above and beyond as far as that's concerned, and utilizing the skills that I learned, especially things like creating a video, which I had never done before, and how I can use videos, flip the classroom, and the actual innovative educator component helped my colleagues and I on my site collaborate and institute a program that we feel will be very effective and well received by the staff and students. So I was really happy with that. As far as implementing what I've learned in the class, one of the hugest things I did was I taught my students how to make their own Google Sites portfolios, and we initially had those ready for our student-led conferences. So I worked with students on their reflections and what they wanted to say to their parents or guardians as far as their progress in school. And then at the conclusion of the actual conference, the students were able to present their electronic portfolios to their parents. And we had a page for every core course, and for social studies and science, and some students for our universal access time in which we provide differentiated instruction. And the students were very proud of the work that they could submit. So that's one of the biggest things that I implemented. As far as other things, I've utilized storyboards. I've had students make videos, and in some of the workshop courses we had some real quick tidbits that we could bring back. And so I've been able to utilize actually quite a few things, which I've appreciated, because so often I go to trainings or I learn things and they sound super cool, and then I get back to work and I'm not exactly sure how to implement them. So I think my students are benefiting from the learning process, and I share my portfolio with them, and so they see also that sometimes I struggle or that I have deadlines I have to meet or assignments I have to complete. So I feel that it helps with that connection as far as that's concerned. um, the last question is very interesting. Do I feel innovative? I think it depends on how you define innovative, because for me, I feel like I'm not necessarily the person who's out there at the forefront creating these wow things that have never been introduced before, like an Alice Keeler or, um, Elisa Nowakowski or an Ed Campos or any of those things. As far as, do I feel I have 100% original ideas and am innovative in that fashion? I still have a long way to go. Do I feel I'm being innovative on campus? Definitely, because the course is teaching me so many things that I can take back and introduce at PLCs. One of the main things that I did was help a couple teachers teach their students how to make the portfolios, and they've actually gone a little bit above and beyond what I've done, and are encouraging their students to continue the actual portfolio through high school and then submit that as demonstration of mastery or personality or learning and work ethic on their college applications and so forth. So I think that some of my colleagues might see me as innovative, but I really struggle with that, because I feel like I'm learning from others, and I'm taking their examples and I'm implementing it, but I don't know necessarily that I feel like I'm giving back yet. So perhaps that's a goal I can attempt to attain, is to feel that I am like a guru like the people I follow. So overall, it's really been a phenomenal experience, sometimes frustrating, sometimes difficult, sometimes all the time consuming. But I am very appreciative for the actual course itself and for all the feedback and all of the people who helped make the program what it is, so that it makes me a better educator. So I thank all of you, and I have now completed my first video blog.